If you want to run faster, you cannot neglect strengthening your core. So in this video, I'm going to go over 5 core strengthening exercises to help you run faster and reduce your chance of injury. But first, I want to talk about why it's so important. The core is an intricate system of muscles that all need to coordinate with each other if we want to run it as efficiently and effectively as possible. The core includes not only the muscles of the abdomen, lower back, and pelvis, but also the muscles that stabilize and control the hips. Knowing this, it makes sense that the research shows time and time again that runners who strength train more get injured less. Now, I know runners, including myself sometimes, don't like to strength train. We'd so much rather just get out and run. It's more fun to just run, and it feels like that's what we should be doing. But why are we strengthening our core? If we can better stabilize the core, then we can better utilize the power transfer from our muscles to the ground, helping us move faster. When we're running, we really don't want to have some loosey-goosey spaghetti spine. We want to be nice and stable so that the energy we're putting into the ground actually is moving us forward, not bending our body. Most of us have pretty strong muscles in our legs, but a lot of us, including myself, all have certain weaknesses. There are so many muscles inside of our core that attach to our hips, which are responsible for increasing the effectiveness of each stride, that we can all benefit from these core strengthening and stability exercises. So here are the 5 core exercises that you should do if you want to run faster. So the first exercise is just going to be a weighted carry. You can use a dumbbell or a kettlebell, it doesn't matter. There's going to be 3 versions of this, or 3 progressions. The first and easiest one is just going to be a suitcase carry. Okay, so all I'm going to do is I'm going to hold the weight in one side, and I'm going to make sure my core is nice and stable. Try not to let your hips or your shoulders move up and down. And I'm just going to walk as if I'm not carrying weight. Cool? Obviously, this one gets a lot harder the heavier you go. Without any weight, it's very, very easy. The harder progression of that is going to be a rack carry. All you're going to do is you're going to stick your elbow out, make a nice little place for the weight to sit, and we're going to go nice and slow, moving from one foot to the other. So the third and hardest progression is just going to be a press hold. So you're going to move from that rack position and just press the weight up, and we're going to walk from this position, really focusing on having a stable shoulder and a stable core. Other than that, it's the exact same. We're just going to walk nice and slow, one foot to the next, trying to look like we don't have a weight in our hand. Okay, so the super clamshell, you're gonna go kind of into a side plank position for your arm, and then you're gonna bring your knees so they're about 45 degrees from the plane of your body, okay? If this is 180 degrees and this is 90 degrees, we're going about 45 degrees out. And what it looks like is I'm just going to lift my leg off of my other leg as I'm pushing the ground away. Pushing up and away and down. Pushing up and away and down. Okay, so a couple tips for this is when I'm at the top, I want to make sure that my leg is in internal rotation like that. I don't want to let my heel fall down like a regular clamshell. This is called a super clamshell. I'm really extending my hips forward and abducting both of my legs. So I'm abducting my bottom leg down into the ground, and I'm abducting my top leg up as wide as I can. This position should feel quite aggressive in your glute medius. This is a really important muscle that all runners could benefit from strengthening, as it's the muscle that keeps your knees from falling in, which could be a cause of a lot of runners' injuries. So a simple progression for this one is just going to be to add a mini band between your legs. Most people don't need it. Just focus on squeezing harder at the top and you should be fine. Number 3, the kettlebell windmill. What you're going to do is you're going to grab a kettlebell. You're going to find a mat. You're going to kneel. Front foot's going to be about 90 degrees. Back foot is going to be 90 degrees as well, but you're going to rotate your heel in just a tiny bit. Then you're going to grab the kettlebell with the same side leg as the knee that's forward, and you're going to extend out, okay? I'm really focusing on having a stable shoulder and a stable core. All I'm going to do is I'm going to reach out my arm to the side, and I'm going to try and find the floor, keeping my spine nice and stable. Once I find the floor, I'm going to stop there for a second, and then I'm going to come back. If that feels too difficult for you, what you can do is you can look at the kettlebell, okay? So it's going to look like this. I'm going to look at the kettlebell, and then I'm going to go down and rotate. It's okay for your shoulder to rotate a little bit. And then as I come back up, still looking at the kettlebell. And just repeat like that. And back up. Another quick tip is don't be afraid to hinge at this hip, at your bottom hip. You're going to actually hinge at the hip. Cool? Cool. As always, progressions and regressions. You can start without any weight at all. You can start with your arm up, just focusing on being stable, and you're going, finding the floor, and back up. So number 4. Now that we've done our abductors, we're gonna work on our adductors, another muscle that is chronically weak for a lot of runners, including myself. So these are the muscles that are inside of our thigh that again really help with hip stabilization. Again, a lot of runners, this muscle is quite weak just because we don't normally do strengthening exercises that target these muscles individually. But when we're running a lot, strengthening these types of muscles are really going to help keep your hip nice and stable, which really does reduce that chance of injury. So this is called a Copenhagen plank. There's a bunch of variations on this one. The easiest one of which we're gonna start with is just having your arms straight, kind of like a straight arm side plank, and you're gonna go on the inside of your foot, keeping this other knee straight and out, keeping my core nice and tight, focusing on my balance, trying not to wobble too much. If that's too easy for you, just go to the side of your arm, just like in that plank position, and then we're just gonna hold that same position. Again, do whatever you want with your arm, really just focusing on keeping that core tight. And last but not least, number 5, sprints. If you want to run faster, then sprints are a great way to simultaneously work on that core stability that we're talking about, while also improving our running economy and our running speed. So proper sprint form is a lengthy topic for another video, but when we sprint, everything is at max capacity. We're going as hard as we possibly can, which even without you thinking, you're going to be using those stabilizing muscles that we've been working on. Okay, so when I'm sprinting and I'm raising my arm and my leg at the same time, I'm really just trying to make sure that my hip doesn't drop and my shoulders don't twist. I'm really trying to make sure all of the movement is forward and back, which should really help you start sprinting more efficiently. So you might think, oh, I'm an ultra marathon runner, I run long distance, sprinting's not really gonna help me. The point of this workout is for strength. We're working on strengthening all those muscles. Okay, so there's 5 solid core strengthening and stabilizing exercises that you can do if you want to run faster. So hopefully this video helped you guys understand the importance of core strengthening exercises. If you like this video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe for more.
Yeah. Dude, the shadow is the worst.